When installing Nichiha's architectural wall panels, your project will most likely include windows or doors on your wall. The installation for both window and door transitions is the same. This video will show some tips on how to transition the panels into a window using a J-mold for a metal reveal. As you near a window with your installation of panel courses, you'll need to install a J-mold on the sides and bottom of the window. To begin, measure the bottom of the window to determine the length of J-mold needed. Then mark and cut a piece of J-mold to size using a metal grinder. Buff the cut edge of the J-mold with your grinder to smooth out any sharp pieces that may have occurred. Next, pre-drill holes every 12 to 16 inches to make fastening into your wall easier. With your first J-mold piece cut to size, fasten to the bottom of the window. Typically, window manufacturers require an 1/8 inch gap between the J-mold and the window, but always check with your window manufacturer to verify their requirements. Fasten the J-mold into the wall using the same screws used for the ultimate clips. Next, measure the sides of your window from the top edge all the way down to the edge of the bottom piece of J-mold. By doing this, the two pieces of J-mold will meet for a continuous reveal as it goes around the panel. Then mark, cut, and pre-drill holes for your side pieces of J-mold. Finally, cut a notch on the bottom of these side window J-mold pieces as shown here. This will allow the panel to have room to slide in easily while keeping a continuous reveal of the J-mold. Line up the bottom edges of your J-molds and fasten into the pre-drilled holes, making sure to keep minimum gap requirement as recommended by your window manufacturer. Continue fastening up the wall until your side J-mold piece is fully installed. Follow the same steps for the other side of your window to line up your J-mold and fasten it completely to your wall. With your first 3 sides of your window installed with J-molds, you're now ready to complete the top of the window with a drip ledge as required by code. To do so, measure the space from edge to edge of the J-molds on the sides of your window. Cut a piece of drip edge flashing, pre-drill holes for easier installation, and fasten with roofing nails above the top of your window. Note that the drip edge must be cut long enough to fasten over the top of the J-mold on both sides. Your window is now fully prepped with J-molds and a drip edge, so you're ready to continue with your panel installation courses. As you reach the bottom of your window, you may need to cut your panel to the shape and size needed for a flush installation into your J-molds. Since you will be cutting the top shiplap off part or all of the panel, you'll need to prep your wall for face fastening. For detailed instructions on this step, see our video titled Face Fastening Tips. Next, measure the space you need to cut your panel around the corners of the window. Note that you will need to measure the space from the inside of the J-mold pieces, since your panel will ultimately slide into the J-mold once installed. Measure the width and height for all parts of the panel which will need to be cut. Using your measurements, cut your panel as needed using the same method as described in our video titled Tips for Installing Panels, being sure to clean the face of the panel as well as sealing your cut edges. Now that your panel is cut to size, carefully slide it into the J-molds with moderate contact and onto the shiplap of the panel below it. With the panel in place, face fasten it to your wall below the window by following the steps in our video titled Face Fastening Tips. Continue adding panels to courses up your wall, being sure to cut and prep any panels that will end into the side J-molds by following the same installation steps as described in our video titled Tips for Installing Panels until you've reached the top of your window. To install the panel on the course that includes the top of the window, you'll follow the same basic steps as the panel for the bottom of the window. But note that you will need a required 1/4 inch clearance from the bottom of the panel to the drip edge flashing when taking your measurements. Simply measure the space you need to cut your panel around the corners of the window, then cut and prep the panel to size. Once your panel is cut, prep the wall above the window for face fastening, and then slide your panel into place. Complete the installation of this panel by face fastening it into the wall. And with that, your window transition is complete. Continue up your wall adding courses while making sure to install ultimate clips and joint tabs where needed. Although for this demonstration we showed you a window transition using a J-mold for a metal reveal, there is another transition you can install depending on the overall look you want for your building. If you'd prefer caulked joints for your window or door transition, then installing single flange sealant backers around your window or door is what you'll want to do. The single flange sealant backer has a nailing flange as well as a bump out, which will be installed between the panel and the window. This bump out will create a 3/8 inch caulk joint around your window. The single flange sealant backer is installed to the sheathing prior to panel installation and fastened every 12 to 16 inches along the flange. Next, you'll place the panel against the bump out and face fasten it to the wall. After all single flange sealant backers are installed on the bottom and sides of the window with the panels installed, caulk around the sides and bottom of the window with the top of the window finished with a drip edge. For detailed instructions on caulking, see our video titled Tips for Installing Sealant. For more information about Nichiha's architectural wall panels, visit nichiha.com.